Hello, welcome. And this is a new segment that we're starting on the TCC channel. It's a one-on-one author interview. Although we're not one, we're three people, but it's just author interview that we're going to start. And the first person that we have here is Prabhupad Mishra. He's the author of Tapestry of Life Cadences, a book that recently went on to become a bestseller in Amazon. And it did amazingly and is still receiving rave reviews. So we are super excited to have Prabhupada with us, and we are going to ask him some questions and try and get to learn a bit more about him and his writing and his book. So, Prabhupada, I'd like to start off with the very simple, generic question, and that is, uh, what made you choose the title Tapestry of Life Cadences? Because this is a beautiful title.
Thank you, Nilatri, Nidhi, and Hina for having me. Thank you so much. And this title, it was a very thought of title. So this book, it was not about one single genre or, or not one single topic, not one single issue. It was a mix of emotions. And I wanted to use this book and get through this book to the readers to help them get creative in their own way. So that was the idea behind that book. And since it was a collection of emotions, so the name, Tapestry came into my mind. And since the emotional part in this book is very high, so I had no other word in mind apart from Cadences. That's how the name came into being. But honestly, I had to do a lot of thinking about what the name should be. There was, at least 5 or 6 names I had in mind earlier. And this was something that we came up with.
We are so glad that that is the name you came up with, because I went through some of your Amazon reviews and most of the people say we picked it up because it was such a good name. So Prabhupada, like you mentioned, that it deals with a lot of human emotions and a lot of complex themes. So I think some of them mention self-harm, some of them go through suicide, existentialism, etc. But something that I really liked in your book was that you break out of the character when you're making the philosophical commentary. So it's direct narration in a way that you are communicating with the readers themselves. Was this a choice from your side, or is that how the book took its course by itself?
No, I wouldn't say it was a conscious choice. I think it evolved as a course, of writing a couple of pieces. It evolved, and there was, no intention, no conscious thought behind it. That's how it came into being. And many of the emotions that I've portrayed in the book, they are sad ones as well. So I really wouldn't like to place myself or the reader in the first person in that book. So that's why you have different views and points in those books where I am talking out of person.
Right.
So that's how it was. But thanks. But I'm really glad you've read the book.
Of course I have. I have a copy of it with me.
Thank you, Nidhi.
Okay, so Hina, you have a question?
Yes. So I have this question. What is your next book about, sir?
So, Hina, there's 2 projects I'm actually currently working on right now. The one that, will be the earliest publication. I had a target of December 2021 in mind. But unfortunately, because of my work obligations, I haven't been able to complete it. I think I should be able to do it by August or September of this year. And that collection, it's again an anthology of short stories. Doesn't have any poems, but that is very close to my heart, because it is about strong women who have met in my life and the impact they've had on my life and the lives of others. So it'll be really exciting for the reader to relate, because they'll be about life people. And although it'll be fiction, but people would be able to relate to it in their lives very much, with their mothers, sisters, friends, and everyone. So I am really looking forward to releasing that one, because it's very close to my heart.
We're looking forward to it, sir.
Also,
we're also excited about it.
Take you up on that thing that you said about relatability. Even Tapestry of Life Cadences, it's very relatable. So when you were writing it, when you were compiling the poems and writing the stories, was it a conscious effort to make it, as relatable as possible, or it just happened organically and then you realized that, okay, it's very relatable to people?
No, Niladri, honestly, there was no conscious effort. And as I keep saying, I am not a professional writer or an author. And I write because it pleases my heart, and I want to reach out to a wider audience and, maybe have an impact on their lives in some way or the other, a positive impact, so to say. So there was no conscious effort behind that, and it happened because of its own course. Maybe because, I write about things that are really close to my heart, which have had an impact on me. So maybe that's why you see the relativity factor.
Prabhupada, you are also a part of TCC's first anthology collection, Soul Hymns. So, would you like to tell us a little bit about your journey in Soul Hymns and the poem that you have submitted for Soul Hymns?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it was honestly, it was a privilege. I had never in my life thought that I would be a part of that anthology, because I underrate myself as a poet. And my poems, so to speak, they are, you would say, I feel like when I read them, out of just curiosity, or just to have a look at it again, I feel it's been written by a 7th standard student or an 8th standard student. That's what I feel. And, honestly, it was really nice to see my name up there. And all credit about this goes to Niladri, because he was really persistent. No, you must do some piece. You must actually contribute at least 2 to 3 poems in this collection. And fortunately, the one that was selected was really close to my heart. And, I remember me and Niladri, we had a long discussion over the phone. So we keep having these chats. And that discussion was about our pets in the past. And the poem Mambo, it's about my pet, the last pet that I had. He was a Labrador. So that discussion with Niladri, that's what actually fueled that poem. And it turned out to be good because my daughter liked it a lot. So I know I did a good job in that poem.
That is lovely.
Yeah, actually, yes. Me and Prabhupada did have this entire discussion about pets, and coincidentally, today is actually the death anniversary of my pet, Snowy. He had died on 20th February, 9 years ago. So, yeah, we had this long discussion. I mean, I have this discussion about pets with anybody who likes pets. So, I love dogs. I love animals. So, yeah. And Hina, do you have anything else to ask?
Yes. So, what is your opinion on the current literary landscape, sir? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Hina. See, that's that's a very difficult question for me, because I am not a critic per se, and I enjoy reading literature just to feel the variety of emotions that people go through. For me, every book that I read, every literature piece that I have in hand, it's more like a romance of sorts with the author or the characters in the book. And I wouldn't be in a position to give you a critic's view or an opinion about the current literary landscape. So honestly, no comments. I mean, I am out of place in this to
No,
give you a
but
comment on this.
even not as an author or a literary expert, but just even as a genuine reader. I mean, I know that you read a lot of books and you read in various genres. So as a reader, how do you see the market? It's really saturated with ebooks. It's with the advent of ebooks a decade ago. I mean, now it's really come up. But paperbacks are still a thing. Amazon, there's so many platforms, so many ways that one can publish the book. So, just as a general reader, what's your take on the entire literary landscape now? Because that has changed quite a bit from what it was 20, 30 years ago. When you had to go to a bookstore and buy a book, there was no other option. So, what do you feel as a reader?
You're right. Right. As a reader, yes, it has changed a lot. And you're right, my reading is very eclectic, and I try to grab hold of as many books as possible. And, having said that, there's this thing you're right about, that we had to walk into a bookstore earlier. And in bookstores, 10 to 15 years back, you would only see books that have, have a considerable amount of marketing investment done in them. So that scenario has evolved. And it is a very good thing, in fact, for, indie authors, because people are starting to pick up new authors' books, which never used to happen in the past. People would only pick up the bestsellers and the books of people who have already made a name in the market scenario. So that's a very good thing that's been evolved into. And another thing, as a writer also, I would like to add, as a writer earlier, had I written a book about 20 odd years back or 15 odd years back, I would have had to approach a publisher, a traditional publisher. And that, to be honest, each one of us knows it's a very long process. It's a very painstaking process. But now, with the advent of self-publishing and, the Kindle platforms, it's really easy for anyone who has an interest in writing and reading out to a lot of people. It's very easy for them to get published. That's the most positive thing I see about the, market scenario right now on literature. And, just one more thing about the kind of writing we have from the current authors, indie authors. It's really evolving, and people are also, readers like me are also open to accepting new kinds of ideas in writing. They're accepting poetry in a different form altogether. They're even accepting non-traditional books, that are not in the form of novels or anthologies. So that's also a very positive thing for any creative person who's into writing. And that was actually very difficult about 10 to 15 years back. It was really difficult. If you had something out of the box, no one would touch it. They would be really scared. But now you have Kindle and self-publishing platforms, so they are really cooperative and really helpful in getting the author on the market.
Exactly. Also, the advent of audiobooks, I think, have opened up an entirely new market. TCC we are working with a couple of authors right now on audiobooks, and we are seeing how that market is evolving really fast, because it's passive reading. A lot of people, with how fast and dynamic our lives have become, they're not being able to read as much as they used to before, and listening to books are more easier for them. So audiobooks are evolving. So storytelling methods are evolving, and I think it needs to evolve, because I always say writers aren't only competing with writers anymore. We're competing with already platforms. We're competing with plenty of other platforms. So do you agree to that? That writers are not only
I
competing
agree
with
to that.
writers anymore.
Yes, that's true. For anyone who's willing to make a professional break at writing, the competition is tough. Although the enablers have increased, there are a lot more enablers in place. You have Instagram, you have Facebook for marketing, and you also have WhatsApp groups and everything. But the competition has increased a lot. And Niladri, you're very right in saying it's not just a writer, a traditional writer or an author who's having to, make a place for himself in the writing market. There's also other people who, like film directors and all, who are coming up with their own books. So it's a very tough thing. But then, that's what humanity is about. When the things get tough, that's what brings out the best. So the next generation, I'm sure they'll be even better than what we are right now because of this competition.
Very well said.
And another thing I wanted to ask you is that I have my personal opinion on it, and I'm sure Nidhi does too. But since we are in the same profession, we can't answer it because of conflict of interest. But how important do you think editing is in a book? How important do you think a book should be? Good editing goes in making a book more successful.
I really think editing is, it actually holds a very important place in for getting a book published. There should be, as an author, I wouldn't be in the best place to edit my own book. I wouldn't like the English corrected, or, words replaced, or the Oxford comma put in. I wouldn't be the best person to do it, because I'm a creative individual. I am trying to put my work out into the market and getting to place it in front of other people. So an editing thing in the book is really important, because for someone who's getting hold of your book either in paperback or on Kindle or in the Audible format, he's investing his hard-earned money, even if it's 50 rupees or 20 rupees or whatever, if you have a free copy, but he has invested some time into it apart from the money as well. and you would want that person to get the best of you. So from that point of view, editing is really important. And just to add, self-publishing platforms, they should actually make editing a mandatory process in the publication of books, which unfortunately many self-publishing platforms don't do it. But
Hmm.
if they put that in place, the market would be a lot better.
Exactly. You're right, because Amazon doesn't have a filtering process, and
Right,
it's
yes.
because of that a lot of, I hate to say it, but a lot of shoddily edited books are out there, and
Hmm.
they eat into the market of better books, in my opinion. So, if you have written a book, it's the same opinion that I hold, that a reader is investing their hard-earned money and valuable time on your book. So it's incumbent on you to also to give them as polished a product as possible. So yes. And
Right.
so Prabhupada, finally, if to anybody who's watching this, who will watch this, who haven't read your book, do you have anything to say, any message directly to your readers?
To my readers and my readers to be, all I have to do is request you, grab a copy of this book, get it on Kindle if you use a Kindle, get it on your Android app, or buy a paperback if you're comfortable with the paperback. But do read it. It's not just an effort to put myself out in the market or get myself known, but it's an effort to strike that creativity chord within you. Because if I as a banker, if I have the time and I am willing to bring out the creative self in myself, I believe everyone else can. And everyone, human beings, everyone has a great creative streak in them. So that's what the book is about, to bring out the best creative streak in you. Please grab that copy whenever you have the time. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. And also, along with buying a copy of Prabhupada's book, please like, share, and comment on this video, and press the bell icon to get updates on all our latest videos. We have a lot of videos coming in, a lot of content coming in. We have spoken about Solheim, so we have Solheim's author interviews coming up. Even one today, a recent one has been posted, I think yesterday. So uh, please subscribe to the Creative Self official channel and follow us for all the exciting updates. Thank you very much.